Okay, I'm kind of a sucker for period piece films. So, Atonement. You know, this one came out I think 2007. Set across the backdrop of World War II. You know, essentially you have Keira Knightley's character, who is either recently graduated from Cambridge or still going to Cambridge. And James McAvoy, who just graduated from Cambridge, and he is their housekeeper's son. Again, this is kind of like a British period piece, so lots of interconnection between characters. You know, and being the son of a housekeeper, and they were, you know, the family was very nice to their housekeeper. They essentially paid for the son to go to college. There is some sexual chemistry between Keira Knightley and James McAvoy. I can't think of the characters' names, and if I do, I'll probably jump back and forth, so it's really confusing. But what happens is Keira Knightley's younger sister sees kind of what happens, and Atonement shows you a few scenes three ways. You see it from you see it first from the little girl's perspective, and then you get to see how she reacts to it. Then you probably get to see the Keira Knightley perspective and the James McAvoy perspective. So you get to see the scene itself, everything leading up to the scene from all aspects. And you know, that's actually, sometimes you actually see them four times. You'll see the scene itself, you'll see what led up to the scene from each three characters, which actually adds a lot of depth to everything that goes on. So she witnesses a scene where Keira Knightley stripped down essentially to her undergarments to get part of a vase that was broken earlier. She can't hear the words, and she doesn't know what's going on. You know, James McAvoy is writing letters. This is kind of a humorous part, because he's writing letters. You know, some of them are kind of sweet, and one of the reasons I get the letter to Penthouse. And of course they show it from the typewriter perspective, so, you know, what he's typing everyone sees. When I saw it in theaters, you know, you hear people kind of chuckling, because what he typed out was unique and dirty, especially in like a 1930, like late 1930s, that would have been scandalous to have read. You know, he sends a letter off, gives the letter to the younger sister to give to, you know, the Keira Knightley character. You can kind of tell she being very young, already has preconceived notions that something is wrong with James McAvoy's character, you know, that he forced her older sister to disrobe and go underwater. She catches them later on in the library, having probably one of the most impassioned sex scenes I've seen in a mainstream movie for quite some time. Thinks she sees some sort of like sexual deviant now, because she also happened to read the letter. They had some twins that were visiting. Again, super interconnection here, because it's like they're cousins. Leave. The twins essentially run off. Everyone's out looking for them. The little girl, I think her name is Lola, finds one of the twins being raped. Thinks it's James McAvoy's character. When they don't find the kids after a while, James McAvoy shows up with both the kids in his arms. He is then arrested because, you know what, he is a sexual deviant and a rapist. He has to join the military. This is World War II setting, and this movie has a lot going on, and it's beautifully acted. Therefore, Keira Knightley ends up becoming a nurse. The only way to find someone you actually love who's in war at this point in time is to become a nurse, which is also what Lola ends up becoming. Now, essentially, the reason it's called Atonement is Lola, as she's, you know, getting towards the end of her years in life, writes a book that kind of describes everything and tries to clear up any sort of misconceptions she had as a child. And it's kind of her catharsis of saying, you know, I kind of ruined their perfect happiness because I didn't know. And I was a dumb kid, and I got caught up in the wrong ideas and misconceived notions. You know, does it have a happy ending? Yes and no. I can't tell you the ending because it really ruins a lot of the movie. This is by far one of the most beautifully acted movies I've ever seen. It is It is British, so at some point in time the dialogue is a little more hard to pick up on because of all the accents. But Atonement is a beautifully acted love story set with a great backdrop, World War II. You know, for a Valentine's Day movie, this actually is a really good one, very solidly acted.